Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to what is the final cookery demonstration of what has been, I have to say, the most successful gluten-free show I think we've had virtually. Well, given that we've only ever had one, and that would be this one, that being the first virtual gluten-free show, I have to say it's gone really well. And thank you to everybody who has joined us on the calls and on the seminars and the cookery demonstration. And of course, thank you to all of our demonstrators and seminar givers and talkers. Today is the turn of Mairead Finnegan from Relish Pastry. Mairead, welcome. I hope you're looking forward to today's demonstration.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Mairead is, this section is again sponsored by our wonderful sponsor, SuperValu. And Mairead is actually from, her business came out of the SuperValu Food Academy. She's based in Kells in County Meath, but originally from Omagh, the lovely little girl from Omagh in the county of Tyrone. Yeah. She started her pastry business back in 2013, and she's an enthusiastic home cook. And what's more important is she cooks all of her pastries with butter. My mother has me crucified looking for pastries with butter in it. Mairead, what started you off doing this?
Well, I think it was just like you say, it was very difficult because I am a cook and I have every cookbook under the sun and always have loads of cookbooks on the go. All the recipes were saying if you don't want to make your own pastry, particularly puff pastry, to buy it, buy good all butter pastry. But I found it very difficult to buy. So I started making my own butter puff pastry, and I suppose I thought, well, if there's none out there, maybe I'll have a go at making it myself. So I started with the short crust pastries, sweet and a plain, and then I launched the puff, and I did a lot of food tastings through Food Academy, and I did a lot of food fairs, and so many people came up and asked me, is it gluten-free? Do you do gluten-free? There isn't any gluten-free pastry, nice gluten-free pastry. So I thought, well, so many people ask me, I can't just ignore it. I need to do something about it. So I just started, you know, and it's not something, I'm not a celiac, no one gluten-free in the house or in my family, but it was interesting to research and look at the different types of flour and experiment with recipes and that sort of thing. So it came out of that, and because I suppose, but to me, butter pastry needs to be made with butter. If it's going to be a flavor, if it's going to color, everything about it needs to be made with butter. So that was really it. So I put the recipe together, and then I worked with a bakery down in Cork, and they made the pastry for me because I have my own pastry kitchen, but that's all for my own stuff because my kitchen's not gluten-free. I had to outsource the production. So yeah, so it came from there, and it's getting a good response. It sells very well.
It's interesting that you say you outsource it down to County Cork, because the first question in is actually from Skibbereen in County Cork. And
right.
Linda would like to know, what's the best flour to make pastry for an apple tart?
For an apple tart,
gluten-free flour, I suppose.
Oh, gluten-free flour, yeah. And this what I've used here is it's a combination of rice flour, potato flour, and maize flour. But I'd say that would be if you get a good quality gluten-free flour. I know Odlum's do a gluten-free flour, but the one I find the best is the Dove Farm organic stuff.
Yeah, everybody.
They do very good flours. So I would have certainly when I was starting this, before I sort of spoke to the people in Cork about blending flours, you know, I told them what I was using. It would have been one of the Dove's Farm flours that I would have used when I was kind of trialing this. So that would be probably the closest to what I use. Yeah.
Okay. And again, just to let you know that a lot of Mairead's Relish pastries are available through SuperValu, and in Cork, I can see Linda asking, it's available in Carrigaline, Kinsale, and Clonakilty. Yeah. And in Galway and Limerick, let me see.
Nowhere in Galway and Limerick at the minute, no.
Well, we're working on it.
We're working on it, yeah.
We're working on it. What are you going to cook for us today? What are you going to bake for us today?
Well, I have a couple of things. I'll just see how much I get through. I'm going to start with like an apple galette, an apple frangipane galette.
Oh, lovely.
It's very easy to make. It doesn't take a lot of, you know, there's no huge amount of skill required in making it.
Don't be talking yourself down. It sounds wonderful. It sounds very fancy.
Well, basically, all you do to begin with, I'll just start with this. You just roll it out. This is the 400 gram pack of pastry. It comes like this. It's in the freezer, so it keeps for ages. And then just defrost it in the fridge. and keep it chilled. Gluten-free pastry with butter, same as every other pastry. Try and keep it as, you don't want it too cold, but you don't want it at room temperature because it'll just go into just start to melt, and that'll be the butter. So I'm just rolling this out. There's no, as I say, there's no great skill needed. If you struggle a bit with rolling out pastry, I'm so used to doing it, I don't even think about it. But a good tip is if you want to put it between 2 sheets of cling film, so one on the bottom, one on the top, fold it over and roll it, and then when you peel it away, it's fine. You know, you're not going to. I don't, because some people get very nervous and it starts to crack and then they start to panic. But it's okay. You don't need to worry. Now I have a pastry disc here, so I'm just going to cut around this. Nice.
To prevent the pastry from breaking up, Mairead, you just don't move it as much. You just try and like you said, put it out between the two layers of cling film.
If you're nervous at all, I don't think about it now, but I know it's something people have a great fear of pastry and rolling out pastry. But just make sure it's not too cold, it's not too warm. Just get the, you know, it's not fridge cold. Have it out of the fridge a few minutes before you roll it. And then if you want to put it between between the 2 sheets of cling film is probably the best way. I noticed Rachel Allen and her recipe, she always says to do it. So it just shows you should, you know, it's something people recommend. And I don't know, maybe she has, you know, everyone has their thing that they're maybe a little bit nervous of. So
just to reiterate, while you're doing that, you can find all the places that Roll It Pastry is stocked on Mairead's website. That's rollit.pastry.com and /contact. And in there, you'll be able to see where all the Roll It pastries are currently stocked, primarily in Dublin, Meath, Laois, Offaly, Cork and Kildare, and you can find it there. How much does it retail for, Mairead? That's another question coming in here now.
Well, it varies. It depends on the shop, really. But generally, it should be around €5.50, €6, depending. Yeah, there's 400 grams in each pack, you know, so it's it depends on the retailer at the end of the day. You know, I'll sell it in and then they kind of decide on the price. But generally, SuperValu, they have it for about €5.50, €6.
Great stuff. So what stage are we at?
We're at the pastry disc. So that's just rolled out. I put a little bit of paper underneath because it might just it might crack or sorry,
parchment paper, Mairead.
Sorry, parchment paper, yeah.
Parchment paper, right. And is that oiled or not?
No, you don't need to oil it. You don't need to oil it. Yeah. Now the next thing I'm going to put on is the frangipan. So I have this made up already. This is very straightforward to make. So basically, you can see it there. It's not a thick, like a baked well frangipan. It's just it works well. What I find it good for is if you have fruit like rhubarb or apple, it tends to leak. This sort of seals it all together and absorbs the juices, and it's really lovely. So all you do to make this is you need 2 tablespoons of butter. Mix that with 2 tablespoons of caster sugar.
Yeah.
You need 1 egg yolk. So you mix the butter and sugar together as if, you know, cream them together as if you're making a cake. Do it in your mixer, and then add 1 egg yolk, 50 grams of ground almonds, and 4 teaspoons or 2 dessert spoons of cream. And then you get this. It's like a paste. It's not really runny.
Yeah.
But it's obviously gluten-free. Ground almonds are great for all the gluten-free baking.
Oh, absolutely fantastic.
So you just smear this on. As I say, it just adds an extra texture to your apple tart. You can leave this out. You can just put apples in, but it stops it from going soggy, and it just gives that extra element to your apple tart if you like that sort of. And it's not very almondy. I like almonds, but I don't like too much almond. So if an recipe says almond extract or almond essence, I usually leave it out because sometimes I find it a bit too strong.
Yeah.
And I think what puts people off almonds sometimes. So just smear a bit of that on. Now that recipe I have or I've given you would do 2 or a very large tart, and you could keep that. That would keep for a few days in the fridge as well. You could make it in advance.
Lovely. While you're putting that away, is it possible to make a gluten-free puff pastry, or is every gluten-free flour not suitable for it?
Oh, really? So many people have tried. I've tried. Really, you're going to end up with a sort of a flaky, but not like a flaky short crust. You just don't get the rise without the gluten. I know a few people. I've seen it in shops and I've bought it, and then it sort of disappears again. I'd say people have tried it and it doesn't really work. doesn't really work.
Well, I'll tell you a story. When we were all in lockdown and there was all this talk about making banana bread and sourdough bread, I thought to myself, sure, Jesus, I'll try and make a loaf of bread myself now, and I'll make it with the Dove's self-raising flour, or the plain flour, and I'll add the xanthan gum to get the bit of gluten into it.
Yeah.
So what I did was I just substituted the flour as per the flour recipe with the gluten-free flour. Well, let's just say I would have made bricks that would have been great in the foundation of a house. You could have put an elephant on them and they certainly wouldn't have moved. They were that sturdy.
Yeah,
so you have to be very careful with the flours.
Breads and stuff like that as well, and puff pastry, you have to make it with strong flour.
Yeah,
it doesn't really work very well with just regular flour, so you do need strong flour for bread and puff pastry. Now these are just eating apples, red eating apples, so any apple at all. There's plenty of Irish apples around or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But this works better with eating apples rather than
cooking apples.
Yeah.
Well, just so people know, Gilbert's apparently do an amazing gluten-free puff pastry, and somebody got it recently in Dunn's. So that's a good tip to know. And we will, if that's not on our food list, we should add it to our food list.
And who is it? Gilbert's?
Oh, Galbert's, actually. Galberts. Galbert's.
I haven't come across that one. No, I must have a look.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's tricky. Yeah, I don't know. It's
so this is a gluten-free short crust pastry you've created.
Gluten-free short crust, yeah, and not sweetened, so you can use it for sweet or savory. Works for both. One more apple. So yeah, no, it's yeah, people are mad for apple tarts at the minute because of all the apples. Although it's dying down a bit, but sales are good.
Well, apples are great this time of the year. I remember I like you, I have family in County Tyrone. So when you're going up to Cookstown, you go through Armagh. So you go through all the orchards. You drive past all the orchards up that road. Yeah. It's lovely. That's
where my mother is from, Armagh, and my granny. All my mum's family are all from that side of the country. So yeah. Yeah, and I was saying that to someone. I was just, people were talking about the fear of pastry and making pastry. And I said, I just never really had it because growing up, my mother and my granny and all, they all made pastry and apple tarts, and none of them were, just your basic Saturday morning was kind of a baking day and it was, wasn't much thought of it to get very nervous about the whole pastry making business. So it didn't seem like
people are afraid of pastry. I think it's to do with that it can get you're always told, especially in home economics class, don't be handling it too much.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, can you see what I'm doing here? I'm just going to turn this. Can you see? I'm just doing little folds.
You're folding it over at the edge.
Yeah. So that, you don't need to worry about putting it in a tin or anything like that. You can do small ones or you could do a bigger one. It's kind of up to you. It's enough. That's how much pastry I had left over, so you could do another.
Oh, lovely. I can think of lots of things I could be doing with that.
So, you don't, I suppose it's like a galette, so you're supposed to like a French apple tart. So I'll just do a little bit of egg glaze on the side.
Oh, this will be lovely when it's done. Now, do you use a silicone brush or one with plastic hairs?
It's a silicone brush.
Yeah.
Silicone brush, yeah.
I find I end up picking the whiskers off the tart sometimes when I'm making it.
Oh, yeah. Some of them are desperate, yeah. So I haven't even measured this. This is just a handful but it's probably roughly about maybe 2 tablespoons, something like that. Because I've not added any sugar to the apple. I just sliced the apple, put it on, and then just sprinkled a bit of sugar. You can
caster sugar or granulated sugar?
Sorry, caster sugar, yeah. And then put that in the oven about 180 degrees for about 20-25 minutes.
Grand.
And
is that a fan? Is that a fan oven or just an ordinary electric?
Just a fan. Fan oven. Yeah. Grand. So here's what I've made.
Oh, look at that! That was quick.
There you are.
Gorgeous.
So that will give you. Can you see? Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely can see.
So it's nice and golden.
Yeah.
Because the butter gives the color, and then the egg wash obviously gives it, and a bit of sugar. Lovely. Bit of fresh cream.
Oh, gorgeous. And
it looks nice when you don't put the top on, you know, it's just something different. So
absolutely. And so you said 180 degrees in a fan oven for how long? 20 minutes?
20-25 minutes. Just keep an eye on it after 20 minutes. You know, all ovens tend to be a bit different. So sometimes you get some will cook quicker than others. So put the bacon. I didn't put bacon parchment underneath this, which was a mistake. So make sure you put the bacon because it can stick a bit with the apple. Yeah. So make sure you put the bacon parchment underneath. So
it looks amazing. You could just eat it straight out of the tray, Mairead.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's the idea. I know.
That's what I'll be up to you soon. So don't be worrying about that. So what are we going to do with the rest of that pastry? Well,
I'm going to do something savory this time. It's a goat's cheese. You can do it. I'll just show you very quickly. Very similar style to that. Again, no great work involved in the preparation of just roll out. Just roll out. Now you can do. I'll do this and then I'll show you some small little ones as well. I won't make this too big. I'll just get a cutter. Yeah, that's a large cutter. This is not going to be very big, but you could do two out of that. What's left there? And again, no huge amount of work. This is a handy one, and this is actually one of the it's a SuperValu product, and it's listed in the little book of
our food list.
Yeah, food list. It's a caramelized red onion relish. Now you could make your own. Some people do, and that's fine. And really, for red onion relish, all you need is red onion, vinegar, a bit of brown sugar. Doesn't take much to make, but this is very handy to have. Especially,
why would you make your own when SuperValu's is just as good?
Well, exactly, and it is lovely. This is lovely, and it's very, very handy, and handy to have in at Christmas, you know, and times like that, just for a quick
and lovely with a bit of goat's cheese.
Just go there with a bit of goat's cheese or something, yeah, anything like that. So I'm going to put a little bit of this in the middle.
I forgot to say while we had started this demonstration that we are going to be giving away some prizes during the course of it. We have a €50 SuperValu hamper up for grabs, a Promise gluten-free hamper up for grabs, a Free From Food Awards hamper up for grabs, a month's supply of Dr. Coy's hazelnut and caramel bars, and a Shelton distribution hamper, which is very handy coming up to Halloween if we're allowed to give out sweets at the doors for the kids, which I hope we will be. So as we go along, I'll make the announcements as to who has won those prizes.
Okay, so I just can you see I just put a little bit of the red onion relish, and then I just took slices of this goat's cheese log, put one little slice of the goat's cheese there. I normally put a bit of thyme on top of that.
Lovely.
I forgot to put the thyme out, but anyway, look, any sort of, if you have fresh thyme leaves, or if you have the dried ones either, you know, but a bit of thyme is always nice with the goat's cheese.
That's something I would never have thought with putting with goat's cheese is thyme. That's a great tip.
Yeah, thyme leaves are lovely. So yeah, so then you just have a little tartlet, and you can just bake that on a little bit of on parchment paper as well. I'm going to show you something similar you can do if you don't really even want to make the tartlets, something you could make in advance, again, for a bit of entertaining. I don't know if any of us will be doing much entertaining this Christmas.
I'll be entertaining myself, thank you very much.
That's it. So that's just a bit from leftover from the earlier apple tarts. So these, yeah, sometimes it's nice that you like to have these things made in advance. And if you put these are like little biscuits, I suppose, savory biscuits. But if you make these, then you can keep them in a airtight container, and you know they'll keep for a while. So what I've done is I'm just going to break a bit of that off, because what I do sometimes I mix through a little bit of, this is grated Parmesan cheese.
All right.
You do this with any pastry, it doesn't have to be gluten-free. So you're
mixing the Parmesan into the pastry.
Yeah, you can either mix it in or you can roll it out and sprinkle it on after. These are some chopped olives. Can move those in. Now there's just a bit of Parmesan on here, and that'll just rub in.
Lovely.
And you can put any herbs you want. You could put in a bit of again, thyme or oregano or anything like that. There's the flour gone.
So I just wanted to let people know our first winner here today on the call is Michael White. Congratulations, you just won a €50 SuperValu voucher. You can spend it all on Mairead's roll-it pastry in your local SuperValu, hopefully.
My small cutter knife has vanished. One here. So yeah, can you see there? I'll show you in a second. So that is the bit of cheese and a bit of, you can do some plain ones as well, or you could do, if you don't want olives, you can just do a.
Just lift up the rolling pin there so we can see how thick those little biscuits are that you're doing.
You see?
Oh yeah, brilliant. About ½ centimetre, lovely.
Yeah, and they have a little bit of
yeah,
the olive going through and the cheese. And then you can do a few plain ones as well.
These are fierce handy to have, because the one thing that I certainly miss since I got my diagnosis as non-celiac gluten intolerant is Carr's water biscuits and biscuits for cheese.
Yeah,
So
well, that's exactly what you can do. And I mean, there's so you can put a bit of paprika through it. You can just make them savoury.
Yeah. Great idea. I would never have thought of doing that now, so that's a fantastic idea. Brian, I'm not so sure if the pastry is stocked north of the border. Again, I'll just show you. It's on, if you go on to rollitpastry.com/contact, you'll be able to find out where it is stocked in Ireland via that website. I'll just put it up again for people so they can see that.
Okay, it's not in the north, unfortunately, no.
Not yet. Again, we're working on that.
So there you go. That's just your little goat's cheese tarts, and there you're just doing little like savoury biscuits with the olive and Parmesan. I've popped those in. I've made a few of those already. So I'll just tidy this up, and then I'll give you ideas for a few of the toppings. I mean, you can put any toppings you want. You don't even have to, as you say, you can just have them with with some cheese and a bit of chutney, something like that.
Great. Mairead, tell me, how much research did you have to do to get the gluten-free pastry right?
I suppose it was just like, because I'm an amateur, you know, I'm not a professional baker. So I suppose it was like everything else. I just went online, got as many recipes as I possibly could, and just tried different things. It was the same when I was doing the puff pastry. I just tried, and you know, it's just trial and error, and you try so many recipes, and then you just hit on one that works, and tweaking them, and sort of seeing what makes the difference, you know. So yeah, so it was very straight. Well,
so these are some you've made from earlier?
Yeah, these are ones I made from earlier. So these, you can see, can you see?
Yeah, I can. They look great. They look fantastic.
So yeah, nice bit of color. The butter gives the color. That you can see the olives in that one. That one's a good one, because you can see the little flecks of Parmesan, and that gives you that. So what I would do, I'm just going to wipe this down really quickly.
Can you freeze any of these things after you've made them, Mairead, or is it better?
Yeah, I've never tried, but I mean, you wouldn't, if you make those before, you know, a week before, and keep them in an airtight box, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
You could always do as well, if you want to, you could always just pop them in the oven if you wanted to have them warm.
Yeah.
So again, with something like that, you could just pop a little bit of this on top, and then maybe a little bit of feta cheese, something like that, or just keep them simple. I
presume those cookies are nice and crunchy once they're done.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of finger food. As you say, if you're having someone over, or hopefully, as you say, for yourself. Sorry, just grab it.
Oh, you're grand. I just noticed. I just want to tell people what you're putting on it again. So that's the red onion chutney that's going on the top, and that can be got from the signature range or the signature taste from SuperValu.
Yeah, and this is just a little bit of
feta.
A little bit of feta cheese, yeah.
Now, all the details in relation to the SuperValu products are on page 260 in the Celiac Society's food list for 2020. Don't forget, next year we're launching our app, which should be available between March and April of 2021, and we're getting our food list products together for the food list, which will also be sent out at the beginning of the year. Somebody said here the worst thing about Zoom is that we're all salivating at the lovely gluten-free food but can't sample any of it. She says just as well there's no smelly vision or we'd all be really depressed. You're not wrong there, Rosemary. You'd be definitely, I'm dying to get into those.
Yeah, this is a little bit of so you could put a pesto or a cherry tomato. This is a little bit of tapenade, black olive. This is it says this is gluten-free. This is and one I got in SuperValu, it's Harvest Moon, I think, another Food Academy. So anything like that, bits of cheese. Lovely. You know, you just
we had one of your colleagues from the Food Academy on yesterday, Aymar Gourdet from Le Skinny Chef. So he does a range of pestos there as well that came through the Food Academy. So the red pesto he was using yesterday would be lovely on those biscuits, especially the ones with the olives and the parmesan.
Yeah, and then you can put a little, you know, a little basil leaf, or, you know, depends on how, you know, how decorative you want to go and all that. So it's just,
well, I'm certainly going all out to serve myself later on when I get this this pastry, because I'll be making these for me, and I'll certainly be sitting down this evening to read to watch TV with a go of those bickies on me. And you said they're lovely and crunchy, of course, just reiterating that for Tony again.
Yeah, and if you just want to put on yeah, if you just, as I say, if you're making any savory tart, you can always just, once you, like I showed you earlier with the disc, you can always just put the grated parmesan on top of the raw pastry and just put your rolling pin over it so it just kind of goes in, and then you get that, you do get a nice cheesiness to make it even more savory, you know.
Absolutely. So how long did you do those biscuits in the oven for, Mairead?
They don't take long, about 10 minutes, 15 max, 10-15 minutes.
And at 180 as well?
180, yeah, 180, yeah. Yeah.
And if you just keep them, let them cool on a tray, and then put them in an airtight container.
Yeah.
About a week, would they keep about a week?
About a week in an airtight container, yeah. And
Great,
you can heat it
fantastic.
if you want, yeah. So that's that. And Anna, how are we for time?
We've plenty of time, girl, plenty of time.
Okay.
Just have you plenty of pastry?
I have plenty of pastry now. I can do I'm gonna do sausage rolls.
Oh, now this is gonna be good, because the one thing about a sausage roll is the fact, A, the pastry, and B, the what you put into the middle of them, because sausages, unless they're gluten-free, it's a big
Oh yeah, they nearly, well, these are gluten-free sausages I use for their gluten-free sausage meat. I think everyone sells gluten-free sausages now. They're not difficult to get, are they?
Great. Fantastic. Oh, I just want to let people know while they're on the call here at the moment and while they're tuned in that Paula bought Le Skinny Chef pesto this morning in the fish shop in Skerries, and I'm just looking to see, is there a SuperValu near Skerries? I know there's one near Balbriggan, definitely one in Swords, that's that side of town. So if people want to go to the fish shop in Skerries to get the Le Skinny Chef pesto, you can go to any of the SuperValus in Balbriggan or Swords or indeed Sutton, and you'll get the roll of pastry there that you can use to make the biscuits with Mairead's pastry. And also I see there was if you go on to the Free From Food Awards, who also have a hamper up for grabs here on this call, and the winner of the Free From Food Awards hamper is Margaret Kavanagh. Congratulations. And hopefully in that there might be some amazing green pesto and red pesto from Veggie Earth, who won at the Free From Food Awards last week. So this sausage rolls are definitely something we're getting a lot of reaction here to, Mairead, so we're dying to see how you go about doing these.
I thought I had enough trays prepared, but it's amazing how quickly they go.
Don't be worrying, sure, we know you're in your kitchen and that there's only so many trays a person can have.
I know. Okay.
While Mairead is looking for that, I can tell you we've another winner on the call. Paula Stack has just won a Promise gluten-free hamper. Congratulations, Paula. So just to reiterate the three prize winners to date, it's Michael White. He's won the €50 SuperValu voucher to go down to his local SuperValu, hopefully, and buy all of the roll of pastry he can lay his hands on. Paula Stack has won a Promise gluten-free hamper, where she can use the bread in there to be the base If she can't get her hands on roll pastry, she can use the Promise gluten-free bread as the base for the Skinny Chef pestos. And Margaret Kavanagh has won the Free From Food Awards hamper, which hopefully will have some really nice food and products in there as well, all gluten-free.
Yeah, we won the pastry one at the Free From. I haven't entered the last couple of years, but 2017 we got the gold.
Oh, congratulations! That's a great achievement. It's really, those awards are really hard to win, and a great taste one. Fantastic.
So yeah, that was a nice. The commentaries are the best things because they say then you have.
There's somebody ringing for your pastry.
Oh, typical, isn't it? Right, this is the gluten-free sausage meat.
Yeah.
And what I have here is some onion. I've sought finely, as fine as you can get, a finely chopped onion, just sauteed in the pan. And I've put in a few bit of dried sage.
Yeah.
If you don't like sage, you don't have to put it in. It's not, you can mix and use whatever herbs you prefer. So I just mix that all in there. There's about 300 grams of sausage meat here. I haven't made a big
and that's a full piece, a full brick of your pastry.
Yeah.
Oh, they're determined.
Probably with the days we had an answering machine. And the landline never even rings. I don't even know who that is.
I was just about to say to you, how have you still got a landline?
No, that's that. That's just mix that through. Now you can add other things to it if you want. I'm a bit of a cheese freak, so I'm going to put in a bit of Parmesan cheese.
Oh, you're like myself. I put Parmesan into everything. I put Parmesan into my cornflakes, so I thought I'd get
what I love about Parmesan is it doesn't take very much to get that lovely strong flavor. It could be grating forever even at a strong cheddar, but that little bit of Parmesan.
It's a good binder as well. When you have it grated really finely, it really pulls things together as well. So I can imagine it's pulling that sausage meat and the onion together really well as well.
It is lovely, a bit more. And if you fancy it, I sometimes put in these are dried chilies.
Oh, dangerous.
So if you put in a few, if you want to get that little bit of punch. Some people, it's sweet chili sauce. I'm not sure. Some people put a bit of sweet chili sauce. I'm not sure how that falls into.
So my mom makes me sausage rolls as well, and she's touched on a really good recipe now, where she actually does the sausage meat, the gluten-free sausage meat, some mushroom, and leek. And that really works very well as well. So I think that's a great one.
Great. Yeah.
Again, just to reiterate, Mairead is using her gluten-free short crust pastry, which is available in a lot of SuperValu stores across the country. You can find out the details on rolledpastry.com/contact. So this is looking great now, Mairead. It really is. It'll save people having to go to Marks and Spencer's to buy the gluten-free ones because they go out of stock so quickly.
Do they do? I didn't know they did one yet. But sausage rolls. Yeah, it's this time of the year as well. I don't know, it's something. They're real comfort food and kind of. And these are what you can do with these is once you've made them, you can freeze them.
Yep.
And then I sometimes do that at Christmas. I'd put them on the tray and freeze them. Yeah.
Now, do you seal down the pastry with anything or just let it seal itself?
No, I just let it seal itself. Just let it seal itself. Well, I put a little bit when I put a little bit of egg wash on the top, so that probably helps.
Yeah, helps as well. Yeah. So most gluten-free sausage meat, it can be bought in some of the bigger supermarkets, but don't forget, gluten-free sausage meat is in gluten-free sausages. So if you buy half a pound of gluten-free sausages in your local supermarket, just take them out of the skins. It's the very same sausage meat as if you had bought it.
That's what I did.
Exactly. That's what I would do as well.
Let's crack a bit. Okay, I'll just put these straight onto the tray.
Don't forget your parchment paper.
No, definitely not with the sausage rolls. Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't make any of these earlier, but I can show you how to freeze them anyway. So
well, it's not far from Kells from Dublin here, so I'll be open for 40 minutes. All right, they should be done by then.
Oh. I know.
I don't know where you live, Mairead. There's no need to panic. It's fine.
Oh, not hard to find. They're a bit uneven here. I'm not cutting them very evenly, but anyway, you get the idea.
Do sausage rolls have to be cut evenly? I think that's a myth. I think whatever way they get baked is fine by me.
Yeah, they always go a bit all over the place in the oven anyway, don't they? They tend to kind of do their own thing. Okay, so then just put a little slice in just to give a bit of decoration.
Great. Well, while you were doing that, just to let you know that Clonakilty also do gluten-free sausage meat and gluten-free sausages, and they can find out about that again in the Celiac Society's food list. So they're on page 154. You'll find information about gluten-free burgers and sausages. So you've Clonakilty, you've Doherty's Meat, you've Hicks, Hodgins, Mallons, and Just Free, as well as Rosscarbery Recipes and The Farmer's Daughter. So there's a lot of information there in the book for people who are members already. You'll find information on gluten-free sausage meat in there. And again, to remind people, the app will be available next March, April, and you have to be a member of the Celiac Society in order to get access to the app. It'll be included in your membership fee. They are looking stunning. They really are looking really good.
Rid of that. Now, if you have a big enough freezer, particularly if you have a chest freezer or you need a full tray in your stand-up freezer to make, all you have to do is, if you lay them out like this on the tray,
yep,
and then wrap them around with cling film, and just put as much cling film around as you can, just to protect them. And then put that there. Yeah, just put them in
freezing them, yeah?
Yeah, I'll show you now. So you just leave them on the tray.
Yep.
And then just put the cling film over it and put a couple of layers so that the frost, in the freezer doesn't get at them.
Great.
And then when you take them out, you don't even have to defrost them. You can take the cling film off and just pop them straight into the oven. So I mean, if I wrap those up, I could keep them like in a couple of layers. You could have those still there till Christmas. The only thing is just let them freeze on the tray, and obviously don't put anything on top of them.
Well, obviously, otherwise you won't have sausage rolls. You'll have sausage flats. Yeah,
exactly. So that's a tip. So yeah, and then what you might don't egg glaze them until you've taken them out. Don't put any egg glaze on.
Yeah.
You can put little bits on top. I sometimes put
Parmesan cheese.
You can put more cheese, yeah. More cheese or little sesame seeds. Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, sesame seeds are a seed unless you're allergic to sesame.
Yeah. So a little bit of sesame seeds always kind of look kind of nice, or any seeds at all, I suppose, just to give them a wee bit of a something extra.
As my mommy would say, a something.
A something, yeah. So there you go. I'll pop those in and just see if some of the other things ready yet, and just check. Yeah, that's another apple tart, so that's almost ready. I need to cook the other one because that's done. That's the one I made just now.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Do you know what'd be lovely now on top of that? Salted caramel.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, a bit of caramel now would be nice on top of that.
Yeah, wouldn't it? So I think that's, how are we doing?
We're doing grand. We're just coming up to 5 minutes, I suppose. I'm just seeing we've no other question. I suppose one other question here is, could you cook those sausage rolls from frozen, or should you let them defrost first?
No, cook them. You can cook them from frozen. You can
okay. And what are we looking at temperature wise and time?
You'd want to cook them a bit longer, so I'd say about 20 minutes. About 20 minutes, 15 minutes if they weren't frozen. Just I was going to do something. I was going to do another tart, a sweet tartlet, but I'll just show you. That's just for blind baking gluten-free pastry. That's a massive advantage because you don't need to worry, it doesn't shrink. So the way if you're doing blind baking with other pastry, you have to put the paper and the balls and everything in, weight it down. You don't need to do that with gluten-free pastry. So that's just a little tart case I made earlier. So,
and what we want to do with that now, we've plenty of time. By all means, make something with that.
Well, if you want, what I was going to do is like a chocolate tart.
Well, so, I can't stop you now.
Okay. So what I have here is, I'm just going to be a bit noisy here for a sec.
That's grand.
I'm just whisking that. I'll give you, I won't start shouting but
You're all right, we can hear it. I know I have 2 more prizes to give out for those of you who can still hear me on the call. So 2 more prizes to give out. John Crook, you've won the Dr. Coy products. That's a month's supply of Dr. Coy's hazelnut and caramel bars. And Brenda Foran, you've won the Shelton hamper, but just in time for Halloween, which I hope you'll be able to give them out at the door, or if you've kids in your family, at least you'll be able to have a Halloween yourself. So congratulations to all our prize winners today, and thanks very much for tuning in to the entire session here today with Mairead. Now Mairead is going to make some sort of chocolatey thing to finish us out for the afternoon.
Yeah, chocolate tart. So I blind baked a little pastry case. The recipe I have used is for a full-size 9-inch tart, but I'm just going to show you for a small one. Now what I'm going to add to this is a little bit of pear. So it actually goes quite well. I'm just chopping that pear. I'll just leave that there for a second. So for the recipe, it's 200 grams of dark chocolate and 150 grams of butter. And I just put that in a Pyrex bowl over a bit of boiling water, or take it off and let it cool down. So you just have the melted chocolate and butter.
Yep.
Then this is whisked up 2 whole eggs, 2 egg yolks, and 400 grams of sugar. Now you're supposed to do it mix that for 5 minutes. I didn't get 5 minutes, but it probably won't make a difference. You'll get the general idea. So you just add that into the chocolate mixture.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is looking good. Sugar, butter, eggs,
yeah,
chocolate, all the good stuff.
So you just combine that all together. Now you can just put this in on its own. You just put this in you've pre-baked your pastry. So yeah. that cooked in the oven, small one cooked in the oven in about 10 minutes. 10 minutes again, 180. I use 180 pretty much standard.
Yeah.
So that kind of cleans everything up a bit. You can see it's like almost like chocolate mousse.
Oh, Tony O'Regan says we've kept the best wine till last, and he's dead right.
Thanks very much. Now I'm just going to pop a little bit of, this is just a sliced pear. Pears are in season again, easy enough to get a pear. Or as I say, you can do it without the pear. And then your spoon, can you see? I'll get rid of that rolling pin again.
You're all right, we can see now. So the pear is in with the pastry. You're putting the chocolate over the pear.
Yeah. As you can see, there's loads left. That's only just one tart. You could do a large tart, or you could do lots of small tarts. Just scrape.
Why make any tarts? Just eat it out of the bowl.
And then exactly, and then put that in the oven. 7 minutes. That's all it takes. You see?
Yeah.
A little pear popping up the top. So yeah, that cooks it just sets very quickly. So I'll take that stuff out the bottom. So, but there's other things you can do with those little baked pastry cases as well. Something else nice in the summer if you want to just put in some nice lemon curd, or something, and a few blueberries.
Kevin Dundon used the special the SuperValu lemon curd, signature taste lemon curd on Monday, and I was just thinking that'd be lovely in that pastry with maybe some strawberries.
Yeah, I missed that. So yeah, I actually thought of that today. I was thinking, because it's very simple, and again, those tart cases you can have made in advance, and again keep them in an airtight container, and they'll be fine, you know.
They're dead handy to have, all right. And of course, adding fruit to any chocolate makes it so much healthier, so much better, you know. And the calorie count just diminishes with the added fruit, which is really important.
Very important, very important. So
you could freeze those blind baked cases, couldn't you, Mairead?
Sorry?
You could freeze the blind baked cases.
Yeah,
use them at later dates.
Yeah, and but as I say, they keep for at least a week in an airtight container if you wanted to make them in advance. And all the shops, especially any time of the year, but all the shops now stock these little tart cases, and you get them all shapes and sizes. So they're very sweet.
I love the fact that does the bottom come out of that one, or is it?
Yeah, the bottom comes out. Yeah, they're the best ones. Yeah, bottom pops out. I only ever use those. Same with the large tins. I would only ever use the one which is the loose bottom. Okay. Would never use the others.
So we made today with you. You made apple galette.
The apple galette, yeah, and then we did the goat's cheese and red onion tartlet, and then the little sort of biscuit bites, little savoury bites.
Yeah.
We did the chocolate tartlet
and the sausage rolls.
And the sausage rolls, yeah.
That's a phenomenal amount. That's a huge amount we've gotten through today. It's coming up now to 3:45, Mairead, and I think you've run out of pastry.
Yes.
What I wanted to say was to say thank you. We will definitely have you on again, because the pastry is one of the things most people who have celiac disease or gluten intolerance miss the most. Between the breads and the pastries, they're one of the things we miss the most. So it was great to see this lovely short crust pastry that you've created and developed, and how all the things that we can do with it. So to remind people, it's available in SuperValus in Dublin, Meath, Laois, Offaly, Cork, Kildare, and some of the in Cavan and North Meath as well. Find all the information on Mairead's website. Mairead, if we gave you a challenge, the challenge would be to make a gluten-free puff pastry, all butter puff pastry. But I don't know if that's something we could get sorted between now and Christmas. However, a gluten-free mince meat is on the cards, and we hope we can certainly do that for the mince pies coming up for Christmas. So, any other tips or tricks you want to leave with us before we go?
No, I don't think so. Just if anyone wants to email me just about stockists or anything like that, they can. I'm just at mairead@rollettpastry.com. If they have any questions about where they can get it or anything they need to know about it, that's probably the easiest way to get in touch.
So our thanks to SuperValu, who sponsored the whole week. Our thanks to the SuperValu Food Academy, who have brought through people like Mairead and Eimar from The Skinny Chef. And I'm just delighted to have made your acquaintance, Mairead. And we've had a fantastic demonstration. As Tony said, we kept the best wine till last. Thank you very much indeed. And it was lovely to see you. Take care, everybody, and slán go fóill.
Thank you. Bye.